right side tread climber, which would be this one here. The left side is okay. See how it has this gap between the tread climber and the housing? On the left side, it's good. But on the right side, it's actually rubbing against the housing. So I'm basically going to show you guys how to repair that. All right, give me a second. You're going to start by grabbing the tread climber from the back in the holding areas where you can pull it up. You're going to grab it, pull it up, and you're going to lay it on its on the top part of the display. Okay, once you have it laying on the face of the display, you're going to go over to the right side panel and you're going to remove the 3 screws. You got 1, 2, and then 3. After that, you're going to remove the side panel. Okay, put that down here, and then you're going to go to the other side. You're going to remove the 3 screws from the left side panel. You have 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to remove that panel. Okay, now the back panel, you're going to remove 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, and then you're going to remove this back panel, and you're going to put the back panel here. Now what you want to do is get yourself a ratchet wrench. It needs to be 14 millimeters for the TC3000. All right, you're gonna go down in here where you see the tread climber is connected to the frame. This is the frame, this is the actual tread climber. That bolt on the right side, that one, and this one on the left side, you're gonna loosen those bolts. Now, before you loosen the bolts, what you want to make sure you do is you want to go down to the front part, right side tread climber. In between the tread climber and the housing, which is the pole on the right side, you're going to place a 3/8 extension between it, which is going to give you that gap that you need. So if you look over here, you have a 3/8 gap on one side, and if you go over to the other side, you have something similar. Should be about the same. Okay, now you're going to go back and you're going to loosen these bolts. Once you loosen the bolts, it should adjust to the frame, and then all you have to do is tighten the bolts back. So we're going to try that out first. Now, as soon as I started to loosen, all the bolts, you see the gap between it now? So it's a gap between the tread climber and the frame. As soon as I did that, the 3/8 extension fell out. So that lets you know that it actually did loosen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this back in here because I want that space to stay. You see how it kind of came together just a little bit, but at first it was touching. So what I'm going to do is push back on this and put this back in here. All right, I put it back in there, and like I said, it's about the same on the opposite side. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten these bolts back down. All right, so I tightened the bolts back down. Everything's back tight. I did leave the 3/8 extension in there. Now what I'm going to do is, before I put all of the plastic back on, I'm going to test it out to make sure that it actually worked. Give me 1 second. All right, I flipped everything back over. Now what we're going to do is turn it on, and we're going to press start, up, and then wait. Alright, it's starting to move, and we're going to step on it. Let's see. It's not touching anymore. On the other side. So it's not touching it anymore, but it's still a little close, but it's not touching it. Alright, so it's actually working. What I'm gonna do is go up here and turn it back off. You know, you can still see it's not touching. It's close, but it's not touching. You know, it's not touching. Yeah, it's not moving. So I think that's good enough. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to put all the plastic back on. I'll run you through that right quick, and then that'll sum it up. Alright, I got it laid back down. So you're going to put the rear piece back on first. Put the 4 bolts in. Alright, I got the back piece bolted down. Then you're going to put the left or right side panel back on, and it just sits in place, and then you put the screws in it, and then you go get the left side, put that on, and then you put the bolts in it, and that is it. That is how